welcome to our meeting and ask that you join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Durante.
Present.
Olds.
Present.
Radford.
Present.
Sharp.
Present.
Spizak.
Here.
Williams. Here. Wilson.
Here.
7 present. We have 8 quorum.
Approval of minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Spizak, supported by Commissioner Durante. Roll call, please.
Roll call to approve the May 7, 2009 regularly scheduled planning commission meeting minutes. Durante.
Yes.
Olds.
Yes.
Radford.
Yes.
Sharp.
Yes.
Spizak.
Yes.
Williams. Yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time of our meeting, if there's something that's not on our agenda that you'd like to bring before the commission, this would be the time to do that. There are copies of the agenda, I believe, by Mr. Ayub's, and right here. Okay, I see none. We'll move right into our first case, which is case 2056L, which is a public hearing and for preliminary and final plan approval for the proposed Imagine Theater expansion. Mr. Ayub.
Thank you, Chairman. The subject site here is located south of Ford Road and east of North Blocks Road and at the south end of Superior Parkway. The overall site comprises of 3.58 acres and is currently developed with a 268 ancillary parking lot, off-street parking lot for an Imagine Theater, which is located on an adjacent zoning lot in Canton Township to the east. The site was rezoned to PUD during the Brookfield Village planned unit development proposal. The petitioner today is proposing to construct an expansion of Imagine Theater on the subject property. The footprint of the building addition is 14,725 square feet and will displace 57 existing parking spaces while adding 18 regular spaces during the reconfiguration of the site. The new addition will incorporate an additional 387 seats, 24 of which will be for the screening room. The total number of proposed seats will be 1,914, which requires a total number of 678 parking spaces and 1488. Proposes 898, 28 of which will be ADA. There are no modifications being proposed to any of the existing driveways. Sufficient means of ingress and egress along with drive aisles will be maintained and are considered sufficient for traffic circulation on site. The height of the new structure being proposed is 60 feet tall and will incorporate split face CMU and half-high CMU consistent with the building materials of the existing building. There's one internally illuminated sign being proposed on the north elevation that is 345 square feet in area to generate visibility for the theater. The site plan maintains the required berming and landscaping along Superior Parkway. And the site is in conformance with minimum standards of the zoning ordinance currently today. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Petitioners like to come forward and introduce yourselves.
Good evening. My name is Paul Glantz. I'm the chairman of Imagine Entertainment. Petitioner this evening. I'm joined by my colleagues, Leslie Zawada and Surf Mohammed from Civil Engineering Services, my colleague and son, Jim Glantz, who is our project manager, and our construction manager, Chet Friesen. We're delighted to be here tonight. Thank you for your consideration. First and foremost, in addition to thanking you for your time and consideration this evening, I want to thank Mr. Ayub and the city administration for the warm and cordial response that we've had to our proposed development thus far. We've been treated with the utmost respect and care, and we're deeply appreciative for that. With that, I brought forth my professionals tonight so that they can hopefully respond to any questions you may have. We're indeed honored to be here, and thank you again for your consideration.
Good. Anything you wish to add to Mr. Ayu?
I will tell you that what's being proposed here is a very special facility. We've had great success with what we call our Super EMAX Theater in Novi, Michigan. And this theater, there's a 2-screen expansion anticipated here, one of which would be a Super EMAX auditorium. That auditorium will seat roughly 367 people, I think?
387.
387. And that one will be the largest CinemaScope screen in the Midwest. It'll measure 94 feet wide by 40 feet tall, give or take. It's really, given what Hollywood purveys these days in the form of large tentpole pictures that families and young people like to see, it's really a spectacular viewing experience. It comes with an immersive Dolby Atmos sound system, and it's really a great place to take your family to see a spectacular blockbuster film. The other small addition will contain what we call a screening room. We don't have sufficient party space for family reunions, small parties in our building right now, and so we're going to have a 24-screen screening room accompanied by a place where you can have a reception.
Okay, very good. This is a public hearing, so I'll bring you back up. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You gentlemen want to speak on this, or no, you good?
We're fine, thank you.
Okay, we can, Mr. Ayub, recommendation, you,
I'm sorry, sir. I always forget these. I'm not used to stating my recommendation for the record. The administration and planning department are both recommending approval of this preliminary and final plan approval for this proposed project. Thank you.
thank you. We'll open it up to the commission.
Question.
Commissioner Wilson,
Through the chair to the petitioner.
if you could come back up. Thank you, sir.
I have a couple questions. And to Mo, in your summary, you say 1,914 seats. Is that totality for the whole theater, all the separate theaters?
Yes.
That's in totality, okay. You also said that you have a screening room. Did you say, did you say a 24-foot screen?
No,
Or 24 different screens?
There will be a 24-seat
Oh, okay, seat.
screening room, a small auditorium, if you will, that's designed for parties and private events and things of that nature.
Okay, so there would be an additional fee to that, to use that room, right?
Well, if indeed if you buy 24 seats, then you get to use the room for free.
Oh. Now, you said that on TV. Fee free. Okay. My only question, my last question to you is, in your design and your development, did you look at the opposite side of the theater that would be the east?
Yeah, we're proposing to build to the east. We did contemplate expanding to the west in Canton
West,
Township.
right.
And the constraint there, very candidly, is that Home Depot has a restriction in the PUD agreement that prevents our theater from being within a certain length of, or a certain distance from their building per se. And so we're constrained. We would have to go to Home Depot and ask them for special permission in order to expand to the west. So we think it's in our best opportunity to expand into the city of Westland, to create the tax base in Westland that candidly we were not able to avail to the community of Westland 15 years ago, but we can now.
Okay, I'll reserve my next questions.
Any other questions?
I have a few,
Go ahead, sir.
if I may. So this is obviously a significant investment that you're making in Westland, and we don't want to give you the impression that we are unappreciative. We definitely aren't. We just want to be very, very careful because this is also a big step. Obviously, we're We don't want to get stars in our eyes and make a poor decision just because we want to accommodate what is likely going to be a very positive aspect to our for Westland. I have a few questions about Canton. Now, obviously, this would be a move that would split your business between, you would straddle literally the border between Canton and Westland. Joking with my family on the way in here, I was suggesting that there was going to be a hallway where I could dance between Westland and Canton. I wanted to know if there was any unhappy pushback from Canton, as you have been a business resident there for some time.
I'll let you answer the business side of it. I should have said this, and I apologize that I didn't. We have, all three of us, Canton, Westland, and the development team have been in communications. We actually met at Canton Township, whatever call it, offices, Township Halls, sorry. So we met out there a couple weeks ago and talked about dozens of things: stormwater engineering, planning, building, fire, all types of stuff. So Canton Township is putting this through their special land use process. I think that's next week or the following week, Monday, for their land use approval, because it is a reconfiguration of the parking that was maybe approved during the construction or as part of that deal. So it has to go through their process for land use, and Canton is also reviewing the building and permitting of this structure because it is an addition of the building in Canton. Their view of this is similar to the administration's view of this project during those meetings. The business side of it, maybe Paul can answer that.
Mr. Glantz?
We've been very well received in both communities, and initially, of course, I think most communities are not typically prepared to deal with expansions across borders and so forth. But as Mr. A pointed out, we've had the privilege of working collaboratively with both communities, and there seems to be an agreement in principle as to exactly how the responsibilities of overseeing the development, approving the plans, overseeing the construction and so forth, the permitting process. There seems to be an agreement in principle, which I'm very pleased about.
So if I could practice a little bit of active listening, what I'm hearing is you've already been proactive about making sure that nobody's professional or political feelings would be hurt by this move.
I've worked very hard to try to avoid that.
I appreciate that. The second concern I have regards the concern over a potential eyesore. Now, I personally believe that if it is possible to make a giant square building look good, you definitely will. However, I wonder how much your engineering, maybe your engineers could speak to this. What they've discovered as far as sight lines, what we could expect to see from Ford Road, say, if we gave our approval and this moved forward.
If I can speak just, and then as a prelude to Leslie to speak, if you'll note that from Ford Road, you actually have to look over the self-storage facility to see the expansion area. And candidly, the height, while it's been presented as 60, we're working right now on trying to reduce the overall building height before we're in final construction phase. But
I would imagine that would save a little bit of money too.
You might be on something. In fact, that's true. And so, while you might say it's a big block box, which honestly, we talked about this earlier this evening, it's hard to violate the laws of physics and have a big box inside and a small box outside. But I think that in all candor, it's industrial to the east, it's self-storage in front, and so you're really not seeing much except maybe the top of the building from Ford Road per se. And it really is obfuscated substantially by the Gardner White building that's just in front of our existing building. And so I would respectfully submit to you that the vast majority of our guests will likely never see the outside of the building, particularly if they park on the west side of ours. current venue. Leslie, maybe you'd like to add something to that?
Well, I'm the civil engineer for the project, so I'm not the architect, and we didn't do, a height analysis or how far away you could see the building, but just visiting the site myself, I don't know how you would even see it unless you were maybe walking along Ford Road. You might be able to see the top, as Paul mentioned.
It's set back
But
about 500 feet.
driving, I don't think you'd even be able to have enough time to look and see it.
Okay. The last concern that I'd like you to address for the benefit of the committee is I've heard concerns about environmental issues in the area. I understand the area nearby or potentially directly underneath the expansion is an ancient landfill. And I wanted to know if you were aware of those concerns, what your engineering department potentially was doing to ensure the safety of both the workmen, your business invitees, and the people of Westland.
Yeah, I'll kick it off and I'll defer to you after I make my comments, Leslie. It is true that south of our property in the city of Westland is what is known as the National Airport Landfill Site. It is essentially what you might have known years and years ago was the Nankin Mills dump. So it was actually operated by the predecessor to the city of Westland. It was a site that Ford and 3M were identified, among others, as the PRPs, and they have at this point in time gone through and completely remediated the site to allow for it to now be a meadow.
Just for everybody's edification, PRPs refers to potentially responsible parties. Is that correct? Identified by the EPA as people who have actually released potentially toxic materials under the existing laws under the existing environmental laws. Forgive me, I'm a environmental attorney.
Okay. So what is potential responsible parties?
Potentially responsible parties.
Well, the potentially responsible parties are were identified as Ford, 3M, and the city of Westland. But Ford and 3M having more economic resources largely, if I'm not fully expended the sums necessary to remediate the site. And we refinanced the business in 2011. At that point in time, our new lender, was not very thrilled about the concept of taking contaminated property as collateral. And so we approached the city of Westland at that point in time and asked them if they would allow us to have a lot split. And so parcels that had been put together going back to 2003 were now being split into two. And today we have a lot split, and there are two separate parcels. And the lot line was determined based on a setback from the landfill site itself. And so the property that we continue to own today, and by the way, the other parcel was actually deeded to the city of Westland. The deed hasn't been recorded yet, but it will be recorded. It's in the city attorney's hands at this point in time. And so that property is going to the city of Westland itself. Our property has no contamination to the best of our knowledge. And so again, what's been done is the landfill site itself, at one time, Mother Nature had reclaimed it was a forest, and the remediation plan was to turn it into a meadow, and that's been done at this point in time. And so there are some gas escape devices and things of that nature to allow methane to escape from the site. We've done studies inside of our building because, again, going back to 2011, our lender was very concerned about this. There's absolutely no methane leakage in our building. There's no methane detected even in close proximity to our building. So I'm quite confident that the same could be proven today.
So once again, practicing a little bit of active listening. Over your tenure on that site, the last 15 years you say you've been in business there, you have been aware and actively doing things to ensure the safety of your business invitees?
We filed a BEA when we bought the property. You're familiar with baseline environmental assessment. Mm-hmm. And so we've been abiding by the responsibilities attendant there too, but largely Ford and 3M have taken the horns or taken responsibility to take the bull by the horns and remediate the site.
Well, we very much appreciate it. And before I pass the floor, I will make it clear that I am ready to go with a motion. when a motion will be in order, but I did want to take this opportunity while I have the floor to thank you very much for bringing your business to the doorstep of Westland for the last 15 years and into Westland, hopefully moving forward.
We'd be delighted to bring it across the doorstep at this point.
Any other comments? Commissioner Spezak, yes.
Yeah, the entrance to the EMAX, is
Yes,
that
sir.
through the front of the theater?
No, the main entrance to the building will remain where it is today.
Where it is right now? Yeah.
Yes, and you'll gain access to the expansion through a corridor, yes.
All right.
Yes.
And in the old theaters, you're still going to have how many screens?
18, so we'll have a total of 20 screens when it's all done.
And for fire suppression, are you going to be able to come in off of what's the name of the road?
Superior Parkway?
Yeah, the what?
Superior Parkway to the east?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact,
And they'll be able to get, I guess they will, they'll be able to get to the back of the building, all right. So,
The site does have full circulation. There will be a water main reconstructed around the expansion. And that's anticipated, and it has been reviewed by Canton Township's Fire Department, and they have found no issues with that. They've already completed the review.
between the Westland Fire Department and Canton, is that what you're saying?
Canton issued a letter officially. I haven't received a letter from Westland's Fire Department, but it does need, we perform an auto turn analysis to make sure that fire trucks, ladder trucks can serve the building and the property. It has full circulation for either fire department, whoever is the first responder, and there should be no issues as far as protecting the building with fire suppression.
Is there it appears that there's an exit that coming out of the back of the front of the building, is that right? Is that what that is?
There will be an exit, yes.
Yeah, with a ramp going
Yes,
down? Okay.
emergency exits.
All right.
Any other comments?
Yeah.
Mr. Wilson?
There one last one.
Yes.
What is the difference between IMAX and EMAX?
well, IMAX is a brand name that we don't own, and Super EMAX is a brand name that we own, so we're going to build a Super EMAX.
But it's virtually the same thing.
Pardon me?
It's basically the same thing.
The generic term would be premium large format. That's how it's described generically in our industry, and this is our brand of premium large format.
How many seats in the theater, in the big one?
387?
387.
387.
387 seats.
94 feet wide.
Be like living in it, right?
You won't be able to miss it.
Okay.
You have all the concessions, including the bar and all of that.
Yes, we hope to have the privilege of continuing to offer food and beverage to our guests, yes.
Questions? I see none. Commissioner Rappaport.
Thank you very much, Chairman. At this time, I'd like to move to close the public hearing, waive the normal rules, and send case number 2056L, preliminary and final site plan approval, to City Council with a recommendation for approval, subject to departmental requirements and recommendations. Support.
Close the public hearing.
Did move to close the public hearing.
Okay, very good. Got a motion by Commissioner Rappaport, second by Commissioner Drani. Roll call, please.
Roll call vote to approve the preliminary and final plan approval for a proposed Imagine Theater expansion at 39535 Ford Road. Durante.
Yes.
Folks.
Yes.
Rappaport.
Yes?
Sharp.
No.
Spezak.
Yeah.
Williams.
Yes.
Wilson.
No.
5-2, the motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, we appreciate it.
I'm sure you'll probably do soil boring tests on the property before you build?
Yes.
Yeah, because you gotta take up the cap, right? You're gonna take the cap, the parking lot you're getting rid of.
Yes, we will have to remove the parking lot
Yeah.
before we'll build it,
Okay,
yes.
that's all. I figured that. I'm not a builder, but it seemed like it.
But yes, we will be doing soil borings to establish the foundation engineering, the required foundation.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yes.
We'll move into our next case, which is case 2226, site plan approval for the proposed oil change in the automotive washing establishment. Mr. Ayu.
Thank you, Chairman. The subject properties here are located on the west side of North Newburgh and north of Ford Road, and are zoned CB4 vehicle service. The total subject parcels are 42,502 square feet and are used for recreational vehicle storage. Two deteriorated buildings currently occupy the site. One is about 900 square feet. The other is about 400 square feet. The parcels are partially paved to accommodate the parking and maneuvering of recreational vehicles, but not all parking areas are paved, and therefore the site is not currently compliant with the zoning ordinance. There is a summary breakdown of the parcel IDs. There's 3 parcels that the petitioner currently owns, the 3 highlighted in yellow on your screen. The subject parcels are the parcels where the RVs are parked, and the small one right there to the south near the gas station. Those 2 are being combined for this project that I'm going to be talking about in more detail in a moment. The parcel to the north is going to be grass planted, and some improvements in terms of landscape installations will be installed to protect the home there, the single home off of Beechwood Avenue there to the north. The petitioner proposes to demolish both buildings again and remove the 8-foot tall chain link fence with barbed wire, and eliminate the recreational vehicle storage use to construct a 4,540 square foot building to operate a car wash and oil change facility. Both uses are permitted by right in the CB4 district, but the proposed building and site improvements require special site plan approval. The oil change portion of the building will include 3 service bays. Access to the site exists via 4 driveway approaches off of Newburgh. The proposed site plan eliminates one of these 4 driveways and rebuilds the remaining 3. In addition to housing the oil change and car wash operations, the building will also accommodate a waiting area and also an office area. Both uses will have their own dedicated drive aisles with sufficient stacking space. Both uses will be accessed by the 2 driveways and a shared circulation aisle east of the proposed building. 5 vacuums will be located on the north side of the building as part of the car wash operation. This location provides sufficient screening and distance between the vacuums and the homes located to the west. Building materials will include mostly brick veneer. The top 4 feet will be wrapped with commercial grade aluminum siding. The development complies with all zoning and bulk requirements in the CB4 district outlined in your staff report. Some important comments, well, maybe the most important comment is that the requirement to install a 6-foot tall masonry screening wall or landscape buffer strip is being complied with. The petitioner is actually installing both a 6-foot tall masonry screen wall and 6-foot 6-inch wide landscape strip, and the petitioner has also updated the site plan tonight as a request, as a kind request from the administration to include landscape installations along this area over here on the petitioner's property in the form of arborvitaes or some other shrubs that the petitioner can speak about in detail to screen this residential property owner off of Birchwood, I believe there's no negative consequences that are perceived by the planning department with this far away of distance, but as a courtesy, just ask them to include it. It's not required, although they did comply with that ask. The planning department and administration are both recommending approval of this site plan that's in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. A. Would the petitioners like to come forward and introduce yourself?
Nancy Beydoun, co-owner and developer of this project. I'm honored to be here today in front of you gentlemen and ladies. We're looking forward to do this project in the city of Westland, and hopefully we could be very heavily involved as one of the active business in the community that could really make a difference for the city and for ourselves as well.
Very good, very good. We will open it up to commission. Yeah, Commissioner Folks.
Yes, were you the owners of the recreational
No,
storage?
No.
Were they still open?
Actually, there is no lease contract between us and them. He's had some type of an agreement with the previous owner of the property, and I just allowed him to be there with no terms, no agreements whatsoever. All I need to give him is a 30-day notice, and then he'll leave the property.
Because there's still vehicles there, aren't there?
Correct. So he's there till we give him the notice of leaving.
Well, I'm glad to see something is happening to that site.
We're glad to be on that
nice.
property too as well, so.
Thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
What would be the hours of the,
Normally, it's not gonna be no more than 10 to 11 hours operation a day. So probably between 7 or 8 till 7 or 8 in the summertime. Wintertime closes probably 6 o'clock.
all automated,
I'm sorry?
all automated, no hand?
Yes, that's our intention. You could see as the plan out there, it shows everything is automated. We even have the gates in plan too for the auto wash.
Question through the chair to the petitioner. You've been in contact with your neighbors, the residential neighbors, where you're going to put up the arborvitae, remember the name?
We haven't really been in contact with them, but we've communicated through Mr. Ayub, and we've told him that we're open to anything that gonna make this transaction easier for us, for the neighbors, and also for the city as well.
Yes,
I
sir.
would suggest, because you're gonna have a large parcel here with noise coming from your machines, and yes, they're gonna make noise. Contact the neighbors and be a good neighbor to the neighbors that are already there.
This is
That's
our,
all- that's all
This
I
is
have.
our intention. Actually, I wasn't gonna bring this out, but now, since you mentioned it, I will do. We're aiming to be a sponsor for an NGO organization. So hopefully this will be as a good cause intention from us to be very participant with the community and the neighborhood
Okay.
as well, so.
That's what I like.
And
All
the
right.
organization name that we're gonna be sponsoring is Global Food Bank Group. It's already has a 501c3 approval.
That's good to hear. Thank you. Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Mr. Ayub, did you want to say something?
Yes, thanks, Commissioner Sharp. I just wanted to add that I did send notices 300 feet, but I think you're right. Be a good neighbor is always the best thing to do. And I will tomorrow prepare a letter and mail it to this person and see if they are okay with the arborvitaes. It's probably, I would like arborvitaes there if I was a property owner there, but maybe not all people do. So let's make sure before this is approved by the council that they don't mind them there. I think they'll be fine, but as a courtesy, we'll do that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Mr. Spisak?
It's got to be better than the gas that used to be stored there
Yeah.
and the oil.
I promise you folks, this is, once everything is completed, this would be a very clean and nice
Those,
business model.
yeah, it's nice to talk to your neighbors, but those people have had stuff there forever, so.
Good.
One more question, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner White.
Petitioner, how many people are you looking at employing at this?
Between the two operations, probably gonna be anywhere between 6 to 8 people. And that's not including the management.
Commissioner Rappaport.
Just a few things that I make sure that I understand what I'm looking at here. I'm looking currently at the overhead, and I'm trying to make sure that I've got this correctly placed, because I passed by what I now believe to be the kitty corner, and I didn't see where this where the site plan was supposed to be located. if I'm now looking at what I believe I'm looking at, your proposed site is off of Newburgh Road, nearby Ford Road, but between Ford and Wayne Road. Is that correct?
Actually,
Beechwood.
Well, I understand. I'm talking about major roads, so that I can correctly place it.
The opposite way. It's the opposite way.
we're on the west side of Newburgh.
We're on the west side of Newburgh.
You're talking about the east side of Newburgh. He's on the west side of Newburgh.
It would be Ford, Warren, Newburgh.
Very well. Let's do it this way then. If one of my colleagues could be so kind as to point to the electronic connection.
That's over here.
There we go. Okay. I know exactly what we're talking about now. I was confused, and I am pleased
it's
not to
Feasters.
be confused anymore.
You're looking at Feasters.
Right.
All that was Feasters, and across the street was Feasters.
Correct.
And it was gas and oil and new car dealership.
Interesting. Okay, so
We're actually, if you see that thing that shows like a canopy, that's the Shell station.
okay. So the other more substantive question that I have is, and perhaps this is best directed towards the administration. Did I hear and do I understand that the site plan that we were provided is no longer the 100% accurate site plan? There is modification to it?
That is correct. I do have an updated copy, so if you'd like to, if you do make a motion to approve, I would suggest maybe saying in there that the site plan that was received today, and just to clarify that the only modification that occurred on the site plan was the
Is landscaping.
addition of these landscaping arborvitae's here, plants to screen the residential property.
That was honestly the purpose of my question, is to make sure that I've got the motion correct.
And just I want to point this out, if I may. If you may, Mr. Ayub, just expand the site plan. You could see in this site plan that we've worked so hard to have landscape all around the building. Even close to the back, we made sure there's a landscaping. So
Well, I'm certain that it'll look better than it currently does right now.
that's our intention.
So, if there are no further comments from the committee, I am prepared with a motion.
Just one thing for Mr. Ayub, on the back of that, seems that property backs up to residential.
Yes, sir.
Does that have to be fenced?
So the requirement, zoning ordinance requirement, is either a 6 foot tall masonry wall or a landscape strip, 6 foot landscape strip. The petitioner is providing both a 6 foot tall masonry wall along this property line and also a 6 foot 6 inch landscaping buffer as well.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's in there. I just want to verify that. Commissioner Rappaport.
Thank you very much, Chairman. At this time, I'd like to move to send case number 2226, site plan, to City Council with a recommendation for approval, noting that this approval does take into account the modified site plan that we have been shown, and that this approval is subject to departmental requirements and recommendations.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Rappaport, supported by Commissioner Spezak. Roll call, please.
Roll call vote to approve the site plan for a proposed oil change and auto wash establishment at 5759 North Newburgh Road. Roll call vote. Durante.
Yes.
Folks.
Yes.
Rappaport.
Yes?
Sharp.
Yes.
Spezak.
Yeah.
Williams.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
7-0, the motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Very good. Thank you
ladies.
for
Thank you so
bringing your
much.
business here, and good luck when you go to council.
That's
Thank
a
you very
drive-through
much.
car wash, right?
I'm sorry?
It's a drive-through car wash?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh, nice.
It's actually with two separate stacking for the oil change and the car wash, so they will not be interfering with each other. I caught that too. Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Have a good night. Thank you. Have a good
Good
night.
night.
God bless.
Just one note before we do anything, a reminder that our July 2nd meeting has been moved to July 16th. Anything you wish to add?
No, it's been a pleasure working with you guys the past few months. It's really been a great month, and past couple months, really, working with the team here too at the building. So wanted to just thank you.
So they're going to let you stay now?
I think so, for now.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion's been made and supported to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.